All right, abusia for mamunyina kwaba. I believe say munyina mohoye, and I also believe say you all are having a nice weekend. Mensa ka kwasi ampani ba ko bi. Munyina wunim say Ghana de enkwasi afo ne doso. Enti abribia no ba ko ba krom. Abribia no ye chi ba ko. Mensa ka kwasi ampani ba ko bi. Just be patient, listen to his nonsense, and wait for the breakdown.
Mama also no near how back quick can see a pie Dumsor. But how can I catch us on your girlfriend when so is a kind? Now, I'm as of no. Where you let us all by me to so too, with my phone thoughts and the summer the camp about so. Remember, baby, we call fast so they be me the lights in bread. Fine to see. So, South to me, you be any here lights at the idea. But remember, baby, who said, you didn't like about 30 minutes, not Saba. This is also your girlfriend. Near to about your upon now. Now, Chris, I could tell you 10. As I be dilemma, me and go for I'm a double mamma dream. I could. On Fataku, beam. Mamma also no. Near how back quick can see a pie Dumsor. But how can I catch us on your girlfriend when so is a kind? Now, I'm as of no. Where you let us all by me to so too, with my phone thoughts and the summer the camp about so. Remember, baby, we call fast so they be me the lights in bread. Fine to see. So, South to me, you be any here lights at the idea. But remember, baby, who said, you didn't like about 30 minutes, not Saba. This is also your girlfriend. Near to about your upon now. Now, Chris, I could tell you 10. As I be dilemma, me and go for I'm a double mamma dream. I could. On Fataku, beam.
Sa hamano, ye de bebo osinso. Oponko tantan, kwasia. Oponko se tabita kumi, ye de hamano bebo osinso. Krasi ni bema. Utie ni kasa kura, you can see say illiteracy ewo ni mojem. So bia ko school da, empo se sa ni pano country kura, ni accent, ni tonation, ubi say ampa, this person is well educated. But utie kwasi ampani way, the way mpo ni twi no flow, and the way I will see our kasa, you can tell say illiteracy direct. We mu nyina kura voters ideal. Sadi na for no, enkwasi afo we nyina to aba. These rubbish human beings are all voters. No wonder say NPP Abribiano, they take us for granted, especially as 94. They always take you for granted because enkofobi say ena edoso kumase. Ubedru kumase enkofo say nkwa we ubekum no. Ofri kumase ena betina so otium ena wo jimi. Nenum kasa kan nenum kasa basa ejimi kasa enkwasi asem. Hwe enioma Ghana 4P na ejina so edeto aba very funny. We never ever see the serious things. Say ekwanya obi ye social interventions. Ayasa bia mampani bi si ye ene hwanwa ye ncheki sa ni mando abribia no yesi we say yesi Mahama say obi aka say yesi say hwan enkwasi asem a emfa kwan mu. We will never ever see the real issues. Enioma ehun hia nko say yen Ghana for no ye gina so to aba ye nhwe sa nyoma ne da Abribia jimisem enkwasi asem yesi Mahama say yesi we say yesi we aka say yesi ye jimisem ko for example akwase me ametie na me sure say me de enya me na mehwe wo nanso me kan say wie no o ma miensa me de won nyina akwa abrochire edan a wutim o Ghana advance bia wu a me na me say tuaka every month bia me na me ma osika e de to aduane di na wo chem say esan say me de ma no kan say enya me na mehwe wo nti ni ame ye nyina uhu na emom sa asem na me kan ye na wo gina so e de abu maten. It is the same thing with John Dramani Mahama. Nempo John Dramani Mahama nensemu na okan ye no eya na ye nwe ho say in what context na Mahama kan sa asem no ye nwe ho da edenti ya Mahama na emu kra ye penasem. Into any negativity bia ye beti afa ne ho bia, then we feed on, we jump on, we consume because already no yakumemu ye penasem. So Mahama ka say he has the dead goat syndrome. The first question I gonna for you na ye misa ye hone say in what context? Ede na epushi Mahama. Ede nyina so, ede ade na ema Mahama gina so a ode kan sa asem no. na ifri he na eba enchechemu ben na John Dramani Mahama ede ma Ghana for edi enti na Mahama sansem no epie free na no mbae ye nwen ho da se ne America esan se ye mpena semunti no any negativity concerning Mahama bia no we are fast, we are quick to jump on and feed like scavengers, to jump on and feed as if say people who have been hungry or starved for over 50 years. Na ye dimrika, na ye spread ya tro, na ye ton jandam, and ye say Mahama say oponk say bini. E jimi kasa say, e jimi semu say. Now, momra na buntie and sempotia John Dramani Mahama kai. I'll come to the issue of Dumsor later on. Nemu yeni kayentie with the issue of dead goat no. Yeni kayentie and sempe na Mahama kai. And sempotia Mahama kai asem no Mahama kan say na yentua yejumedie so. In free honum. Listen.
Yes, in election years, I mean, trade unions and everybody sees that government is in a vulnerable place. And so that's when demonstrations and things, agitations for increased pay and all that begin to happen. And because of the sensitivity of the period and probably the fear of losing elections, government, normally would give in to some of these pressures. And before you see, the budget is out of sync. And then when elections are over and government is installed, you have to start the belt tightening all over again. The advantage going for me is I've seen more demonstrations and strikes in my first 2 years. I don't think it can get worse in the second 2 years. And it is said that when you kill the goat and you're fighting it with a knife, it doesn't fear the knife because it's dead already. So I have the dead goat syndrome. In election years, I mean, trade unions and everybody sees that government is in a vulnerable place. And so that's when demonstrations and things, agitations for increased pay and all that begin to happen. And because of the sensitivity of the period and probably the fear of losing elections, government, normally would give in to some of these pressures. And before you see, the budget is out of sync. And then when elections are over and government is installed, you have to start the belt tightening all over again. The advantage going for me is I've seen more demonstrations and strikes in my first 2 years. I don't think it can get worse in the second 2 years. And it is said that when you kill the goat and you're fighting it with a knife, it doesn't fear the knife because it's dead already. So I have the dead goat syndrome.
All right, Mami, breaking it down. Na John Dramani Mahama patre say about mre babeswa trade unions. Any Ghana food binom, they come to the realization say the government is in a very vulnerable situation. You can say vulnerable and they say, oh, corner beer, I say, we are prone to just anything. Why desperate, bibisa. The government, is in a very vulnerable situation. In they take advantage of the situation. Na ye demo ahodoɔ strike ni ade akatria ye prento so montu akatria mu hwan na bebre kwa obi asɔre ana ye kasa he na aban no se wanyi we a ye to atiaw he na aban no se wanfa yan kosi a ye to atiaw Mahama de sesi na kyese bibia ba be he inti na Mahama kyese se samre no so na se oye mampani na se wansua nyansa en yusu wadwen a you end up falling for all those kind of things. Ubetu to ubiaka triem or bra Ghana ye ni sikano to support such pay system. You are so vulnerable and you are desperate to win power. In the same no bar, mampenino I was say, uyusu wadrin, Emma wadrin ye juma na utimi manage situation no. Na Mahama che says samre no ba na se wensu nyansa na se wa ma wadrin na nya juma enyina wo na so as eye mampania na se otutu ubiaka triemu na se wo ye nia obia epema na eno na se yeto abawie na se yewura new year no mu a aban no mia Ghanafo entia sa sika na aban de se ye emra na ye pray to me no. This is the time that they want to recover all that money. Enunti se master dia Ghana ha no ya na empempe no ye ben eye abato mreso ya na bibia mutago bibia ba form ni ade na he sika ba ni ade entia ye de boma refree sene be ya se mugina eno so eto abanu ria se mo study from the first year of governance they are not be tired of, because that is the time that they want to recover all that money that they spent during a year campaign time. Iti John Dramani Mahama said there be uye mampenia, you should not go that way, because so ye mampenia one quality e was a wunyane say you should be able to stand on your grounds. Also TSS and Kaseb Uganda for ye left and right and kayem to aba en ye wo penny say the enim efa ye Canaan. Iti once I to aba ye wo penny no say the enim decide my ye no kire say yankasa no ye nim ye left and right. Iti say uye mampenia wakwa say papa and I say eja. The fact is say e come de oba na oba air point say DDT ni men nom ne nkyese tam DDT no ema oba no wo na say uhu nyansen say no DDT no say me de ma me ba na obewu eti no matter e komu a e de me ba e ma me mfa DDT e ma me ba ana say aduane we no say me tam de ma me ba na emoa no eti no matter e komu a e de no e ma me ntam say aduane we e mfa ma de me ba o penny no wo father no eja no, you have to be able to have that kind of wisdom. Said no, adie we die ye ni say Ghana ko ni sia na ebeboa Ghana fo nyina ye ko ni say ya emboa omanmu ni nyina. Enti John Dramani Mahama ka say after all ono de efri say me si wu ya obeye mampani what you say mo ye demo etia no for several times. Hey demo e koso Kumasi more than 10 times and cry demo ho ahwan ti ono Mahama no say eba demonstrations are why you used to, because mo sha say mo ye demo e de etia ono Mahama enye bini mo ye demo de etia na ma say no why used to demonstrations no na ono John Dramani Mahama adia ebeboa Ghana for na obeye eno nti na modi tu me share nsa say ogina ne amo kaso ene mo nsem so eteki decision biara say decision no amboa Ghana for you the same people will blame ono Mahama. Enti ono Mahama de adia onimu se ebeboa mo Ghana for na obeye enye nia ebinom asori ena ye tiatiamu ena say saa de no se mo ye na se mudimansa mo meki no ohun se eye bibia oye de mamoa enha Ghana man na obeye nanso se ono tenase eye ne calculation hu se no saa de we se me ye de mamoa in the long term no emboa ye Ghana for nyina onye edientia oye mampani and he knows what is best for the country. Enti eba de monko ade a esan se moye demo ahodo etia no na eti no enti no eba de monko ade a he has the dead goat syndrome, because udwan ho and I say aponchi ho so kuna se bi onsuo se kan biem. Now eye ono John Dramani Mahama no esan se mokuno moye demo ahodo e de atata no ekuno Ghana henti no onsuo demo biem onsuo se kan biem. Enti ono John Dramani Mahama de adia onimu se oya ebeboa Ghana fo nyina benya so mfaso na ye mai Ghana etimi etumpon obra yeto abawi a ye entitle Ghana fo ema Ghana fo mre saade no ena ono John Dramani Mahama obeye de aboa Ghana fo nyina. These were the words of John Dramani Mahama, and I taken out of context. Say Mahama say on Ethiopia, Mahama say he has the dead goat syndrome. And Mahama say nempo or can say rien or sreye edientia na a jokingly way bia or the say this is how bad the situation is, or this is the reality of the situation. Na me so bisamia, it is one of the qualities of a great leader. Say so ye penia, it doesn't mean say baby a European obia John woko. Imagine say Ghana we are about 30 something million. Say and then 1 million people sorry. HSA John Dramani Mahama na say mampani bia ote Ghana kunya so bia no use the A route and as use the A road. Na say wutie wo mo want na say anwe ho say A road na me fa no ebeboa san kofu yi and say Ghana fo nyina na say emboa isan say opese yeto aba yeto ma wunti you just ignorantly use the A route. So obo sa bra na enye another group also besa sorry ache say oh okay na say yekasa odie onwe eno ansa dwondwondona wo ene sa dia yenso no we prefer you to use the B route. E basa na say ya yo so to bi aye control obi atimi bo fa ha hey we see for B we see there be onso fa A we see ko C na why you confused as a leader. It's one of the greatest quality of every leader, and say you have to be decisive and know what you are doing and know what is good for your people and know what you have to do to make your country better. And that is the kind of quality John Dramani Mahama work. It is a yanum sorry, Echel say, John Mahama say, or you join Funu, or Tiobia, and again, dear. Bisasani Pane say, in what context na Mahama Kandisa? In what context? For example, and any about me, Omunam NIHSK, why? Because they want to win power. In the trade unions and labor unions and blah blah blah. Now you chase over $200,000. Now you chase the mother delegates. Now you chase because they are so desperate. They want to win power. And I gonna for so money amoji. Now Montias here say in case about Miampu winia, they are now going to recover all that money. Now some na ya na omo titan system num ema ekom de Ghana for na botiem and I ba omia ye breo NPP ye breo ye breo some no mo refi say saa sika na ye de ma mo time na ye to aba na money age no saa sika na no e na ba omia e try say obe recover all that money back eno ho asem e na John Dramani Mahama e kan na John Dramani Mahama e check Ghana for say ono de almost abra no say e san say abato mre e ba beso na me Mahama my so desperate say me pay 2 minutes no na say me nto ska ngum na me nye bibia bibisa keke na ye budget no enkosoro se ne be ya ye to aba ne wi a me mia Ghana for ama Ghana for abre nyansa bia animo. So let me do what is right and let me do what I know say will benefit each and every Ghanaian. Na ekademo nko ade anka e ma face demo me John Dramani Mahama me nko ane mampani a me mreso ye ntimi nkan demo a Ghana for ye kuma se nko aman kan krampo nye be mako be 10 enkran de mai other regions nso mai etimi Mahama no ekademo nko ade anka me hu. And I don't believe we say it will blow out of any proportion there. You have the right to go out there and demonstrate if you feel say your grievances are not being heard. But Montias say more grievances subject to critical thinking. Say who say mudimansi abu meki demands bia in case me Mahama no me for failure. Ebebua Ghana for and ase emwa Ghana for. These were the words of John Dramani Mahama. And I antina say, Yama yanom eton fuma yen, and a Mahama say dead go to, and a dead go to, and a dead go to, and Kwasia sema Jimisem, yen she Numa Mahama ye, yen she UGMC, yen she ayasabia hudwa Mahama si ye, yen she insua Mahama 2 ye, yen she akwaya Mahama ye, yen she social interventions a Mahama de by, and yes, you or say dead go to be, and those things don't add any value to our electoral process. Etiantias say NPP no, let us learn to focus on the actions of people and not on their words, because eba words there and from so woni pakasa ho obi atimi play the fool obi atimi can serve you and sembia so de kwa adwendwemu pa nyansa bia ni musen kasa ni panompo kan de sa edintia and from so woni pakasa ho etia na ye pese Ghana tumpo wa ho. Let us learn to focus more on the actions of people and not on their words. For example, me Samitana Chemu say, I love Mahama and I love the NDC. Anybody at all can say that. Don't listen to the Amakano, but watch my steps. Watch me can say actions, If you walk on person 7 Amakano, me subai to say, how do I go about my video making? And no chese and passe me do Mahama ne NDC abang. And I say me do Mahama ne the NDC as a party. This is how we are supposed to reason things out. Enye Jimmy, enye Mwasem, enye Nkwasiasem, enye Nkwasiakeka, emwayen. After to the issue of Dumsor, on say Okasan was saying, hi, Dumsor no, Mahama ka say, dead go to, nanso, Ekufuado, Uluman we ba here, minim kwa kra, of Fasua, wetimi amakaniano, ejinasosa, unim kwa kro, and I walk on. Why don't you go out there and find out kwan kra Ekufuado Fasua or the survey Dumsor na boka ho asem no? Because me so bisa me abetimi a che kwan kra Mahama Fasua or the survey Dumsor. Mahama ye den Mahama kra plant bi ba Ghana ye to ni din Ameri plant. Ekosi Western region. Sa plant no eni adia Mahama use ya or the survey Dumsor. Intianesa mo say Oluman Olu ena e survey Dumsor dia momra bonten na monche Ghana for kwan kra Fasua Olu e survey Dumsor eno dia muntimi kire eti John Dramani Mahama e kire se me Dumsor no enye me mreso na ibae if you conform reso by now there has been Dumsor now so me dia se bi omo anto aba ama me se me mra na me complain eti no magye atum se na mo say Dumsor no e mo ayedin and that me mreso a eno ntira me mampani magye atum ma take on the challenge me survey Dumsor ansa na me mre aso ampa anso John Dramani Mahama solve Dumsor and Sana Ghana for to Aba Etiano in 2016. It is free 2017 eba na eti amho Dumsor ni say Mahama ekra sa planting eba Ghana e dey solve Dumsor. E na ye ka say Dumsor asaba. E dey ntia. Sa planting na Mahama kraba Ghana o dey solve Dumsor no. 8 years ni Ekufuado eni ba omia entimi enkra bi nka ho na mpo. Ni Mahama kraba ye at a cost of $3.5 million odi kosi itakura de no enko fu atam over $40 million akotam abesi Kumasi aye recommissioning relaunching atunidi K1 TPP eye Kumasi Thelma de. Meanwhile, they haven't been able to adapt to what John Dramani Mahama brought. Oh, yeah, na you can't say be say chemo. Na say still la no mo nam play the fool la. Yeah, na me dream ho amenti ase. Ene so bisa NDC ni a otimi kire kwan kra Mahama fa so a ode solve Dumsor. Now sumuti Ghana eguso kire say an Dumsor no krampo no eye hwan baaye Oluman baaye Ekufuado baaye mo Jimmy now so yebisa mo say Oluman kro no ekwan be na ofa so a solve Dumsor mo ntimi kire. Now sumunam Ghana and now you are giving all the credit to eye Oluman na oba ya ye hu kwan kra ofa so a solve Dumsor ono na bribia ye bo ni din e na oba ye e na ye hu Dumsor na so ene ya mene mo ka se Dumsor asaba e ma empo mu bisa na po se mu hia timetable la na po ka che mu se bisa bio timetable hu asem na mo kan dia the government has no timetable for you. It is all your timetable there. Then go and create your own timetable. Ya forget this answer when you na edentia. Ya come munu yempe Mahama asem. Any negative news about Mahama Biano, that is what we prefer to feed on and not the reality. Say Mahama can say he has the dead goat syndrome. In what context? And Mahama can say this is what we have to be looking at. Enye Jimmy, enye nkwasi asem, enye muasem, enye aza, enye ntro, enye jandam, enye obisi, enye hwan say. It's about the context. Send ya me mamu breakdown no. Na Dumsor no so monti ase say John Dramani Mahama NDC aban na solve Dumsor enye NPP aban. We can tell you ekwan kra Mahama fast was any America no. Or they solve Dumsor. But we cannot say the same thing for Baomia and his boss Ekufuado. So what are we talking about? Yensio Nyansa. Let us learn to vote based on issues and not based on partisanship. Let us learn to vote based on issues and not based on propaganda, based on ensemu and fasobia and so based on ejimisem, based on ensemu and who here. They add nothing to the table. Enti yanti bibiase na yantuaba na this year no John Dramani Mahama and Sametua ni jumedie so. Ena medemo ABC meeting at the chairman Freemind Joy. The rest of your time and I'll see you in my next video. Makram.
So nimua when 20
Genesis chapter 4 verse
when 20 me kwabeko ko frempom. Say people we need elections here. Ebebe yapa. They should lose these elections. Send ye beya nipa no moja guye the year 2020 amampani nya hu bibibia besi ne. Me see me wo se wo ye wako software school. Yes, me nya software there, but na me wo school no. Na me SU president. Crunchy Ankara. The year 1982-83. Me ne nyina na wakra high school.
okay
Na ye nyina na SU mpanimfo. Omo ekono ene om die chiri jame. Nti I was SU president. And I say me Assemblies of God ni. And they yatiti me to susumu abedru sabri. Na me so the American ye. So mampani se me abraya o we power no. Se me mapan na we power. Ene nke ba abai mu a. Ti said the NPP for eba abai mu a. Enna enipa nwotwe awuo na so onya ho hwe a. Me Ebenezer Kuoko Frempon na Kwabre Kuoko Frempon. The American say Empo National Cathedral pra so mampanika so si committee min court na so ankamenye. Even National Cathedral ya wo si committee o so min koka ho ankamenye. Enipa ya wu ngotwe onyame se ebe moja no. Esufre no for justice so nimu a. And they will lose this election because of this. When 20 they will lose this election. See what yashi. Media empire don and they will lose. Now one co opposition no go so nyansa next time mo ba ye to abom behwe so wo mo body patu. no mo nka sɛ nipa no wɔbɔ yɛ criminals masɛm no
Mate.